morning, everybody. Dan here to venture today. It is early in the morning, a little before 5 o'clock, and I'm up early today because there's a lot of really good commentary on the truck forums about these Super Duties and miles per gallon, and how as you go faster, the miles per gallon really drop. And so you see this all the time when people are talking about non-towing or even towing, that if I go 70 miles per hour, I get X, Y, and Z. If I go 75, if I go 80, 60, 65, 70, 75, you know, they describe how gas mileage drops, and drops pretty significantly over 70 miles per hour. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm gonna drive 45 miles per hour on the highway. And so let's just say the scenario, right? Like, a bomb goes off somewhere in the United States and you have to bug out of town, and there's very limited supply for fuel, and you have to get as far away from where you are as possible, and you got a full tank of fuel. How far can you go? So we're going to work on that today. I'm going to try to figure out how these trucks can maximize their fuel efficiency. And so we're going to find out what we do, and I think around 45 miles per hour is about the max fuel efficiency on one of these vehicles when you balance engine RPMs, wind resistance, and fuel efficiency that you get from gearing. My guess is right around 45 miles per hour is the sweet spot. So we're going to find out today. I'm going to run the same run I typically run on these tests, and we'll find out what this baby will do. So this is a 2017 F250 with a 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel, and let's just see what happens today. So come along, see what happens. Okay guys, we're getting started here. I am in the process of resetting my trip computer, same place I always do this. So if you can see that, I have zeroed it out, and this is a run that I do all the time. I've got previous videos of this Super Duty on this exact run. I've got a Ford Expedition where I just tried to highlight the mile per gallon changes from when that truck was brand new to now I've got a little bit over 6,000 miles on it, and boy, that engine sure loosened up a ton. So I did this run on my Super Duty not long ago, actually, and it got 23.8 miles per gallon on this run, which I thought was pretty fantastic. So this truck, this run, I should say, is really one that you know, I'm trying to highlight what a person might experience during their commute to work. And so it's mostly highway driving, and in the past I've always just drive the speed limit and try to you know, act pretty normally as I'm accelerating and decelerating and so forth. Now I've got about a 4% grade hill that we're going to encounter here, and so it's going to be interesting to see what this truck does when we hit that hill. I think we're probably going to see a downshift, because right now I am going 45 miles per hour. I've got the cruise control set, and my RPMs are just barely over 1,000. I'm probably about 1,100 RPMs. So the engine is not producing much torque at all. As you can see right now, the mile per gallon is already at 23.8 miles per gallon. See if we can pull up the instant here. We got going up just a real slight hill right now. So we're ranging above 30, it appears, when we're on the flat and not experiencing any hill. I've got to do this experiment really early in the morning, because the speed limit on this highway is 65 miles per hour and I'm doing 45. And so if I see any cars pull up behind me, I'm going to need to put my flashers on just to warn them that I'm not going very fast. If you're curious about the headlights, I do have LED bulbs on this vehicle. I'll link that video at the end, and so you can get a little feel for what I experienced there. But I absolutely love the light bulbs that I have installed on this truck. So it came with the halogens, and you can see here that if I were to turn off the fogs, there's quite a bit of a difference in the lighting between non-fog and fog. And but boy, I'm not going to flash my headlights because I've got cars coming at me. But boy, these headlights are really, really good. So anyway, like I was saying a little bit earlier, I'm doing this run because there's so many posts out there about how these trucks degrade their gas mileage as they go up in speed, which is true of any vehicle. And I don't know if it degrades worse in a Super Duty than it does on a sedan like a Honda Accord, for example, or something like that. But it does degrade, but we never see much commentary about how miles per gallon improves as you slow down. And so this is kind of like one of those experiments in the opposite that we typically hear about. So, I was just bragging to my wife how, my big old Super Duty can go from St. Louis to Kansas City. I can run appointments all day in Kansas City and then drive all the way back to St. Louis on the same tank of fuel and still have fuel left over where we can go run errands. And, in her expedition, she could not do that. And so it just really goes to that. Yes, the size of the fuel tank has something to do with it, but these vehicles really don't do too bad when it comes to miles per gallon. So anyway, so we are now coming up on the hill here. It is about a 4% grade, like I said, and I'm getting passed by semi-trucks. I do have my flashers on, so I'm keeping myself as safe as possible. And we're still going 45, and we are holding 6th gear. We are producing a little bit of boost, not a ton, but we are producing a little bit of boost. So no big deal for this grade for the Super Duty. As you can see, the sun is coming up. It's a beautiful day here in St. Louis, about 60 degrees, and it's just going to be gorgeous today. So, back to what I was saying. So the scenario that I had in my mind for this test was at the top of the hill here, we're at 21.5 miles per gallon. Okay, and we made it all the way up that hill by maintaining 6th gear. So 45 miles per hour seems like a pretty good level for this test. Okay, so back to the example here. So let's say that something horrific happened. Chemical attack. Some sort of dirty bomb, something occurred, the electrical grid went down. There was a TV show, I can't remember the name of it, I think it was produced by the people who did Lost, where all the electricity in the United States went out, and if you ran into a grocery store trying to get food, most of those people ended up dead. But the people who already had bags packed, who were prepared and just bugged out of town immediately, grabbed whatever food they had out of their house and just left town, those are the people that had a chance to make it. Well, that was kind of the scenario I had in my mind was, okay, so let's say you had to get away from wherever you are as far as possible. What vehicle in your family would you choose to take with you? Would it be the small, fuel-efficient sedan? Would it be your SUV, or could it possibly be your Super Duty? And I would make the argument that you'd want to take your Super Duty because you can attack and accomplish so much with a vehicle like this. You can get off-road, you can, probably get through scenarios that you could possibly see out there that you see on TV and the movies all the time, better in a 4x4 or a truck with high ground clearance, better than you can a sedan, of course. And maybe diesel fuel's more available. Since diesels are a little more rare on the road, maybe diesel fuel's a little more available at gas stations than gasoline would be. So anyway, I thought, well, let's see what these trucks are actually capable of. You know, if we just did that same exact run and I just throttled down to 45 miles per hour, we'll see what they're capable of. So anyway, we're coming down the hill now. We're over the peak where we were showing a pretty strong number, but on the downhill, we're already up to 28.5 miles per gallon. So let's say that you ran the gas tank down to, let's say 30 gallons, and you were averaging 30 miles. That means that you could go 900 miles at 30 miles per gallon. So 30 gallons times 30 miles per gallon would be 900 miles. For me here in St. Louis, to give you an idea, that means I can get west of Denver, Colorado. I could get all the way up into Canada. I could get almost all the way to the East Coast. So I could really make it a long way on one tank of fuel if I had to drive for maximum fuel efficiency, and time wasn't an object, but maximum fuel efficiency was. So we're coming near the end of this performance run, and I am at 29.9. The instant mile per gallon is still over 30. So that indicates to me that if wherever you're traveling to, you have a lot of flat road. Unfortunately, with these trucks, I can't show you exactly what that number is or give you a feel for what these do on the flat. Some vehicles will show you an instant that will go up to 100. Not so on the Super Duty. We max out at 30. So I know I'm on the flat, we're getting over 30 miles per gallon. During this test where I've got a pretty significant hill, we're averaging a little bit over 30. So I'm going to flip the blinkers off here since I'm near my exit, and I'm going to hit the brake. We're going to coast into that stoplight that you see there, and this will be our score. So we are at 30.5, 30.6, 30.7. I'm going to get up here, and this is where I'm going to make my turn to head back home. 30.9. All right, 30.9 is the score. So 23.8 was my score driving normally, driving the speed limit and so forth. I added 6 miles per gallon by driving for max fuel efficiency. So actually 7 miles per gallon, we'll call it, for max fuel efficiency. So if you again are able to use 30 gallons in your fuel tank, and you're getting 31 miles per gallon, that means you can drive 930 miles on a tank of fuel if you're just driving for max fuel efficiency. If you're driving over even that entire distance, and these vehicles are getting, let's just say we're getting maybe, I don't know what the number is, let's say it's 35 miles per gallon times 30, then obviously that number is a lot higher. I don't have a calculator with me, but I think that would be 1,000, right around 1,000 miles per gallon. But if you're getting 40 miles per gallon times 30, that's 1,200 miles. So you're going maybe from 10, maybe it's 1,050 miles at 35. At 40 miles per gallon, you're able to drive 1,200 miles. I know this is a ridiculous conversation we're having right now, but that's okay. That was the whole point of this, to have a little bit of a ridiculous conversation about miles per gallon. And but if you could get 40 miles per gallon on the Super Duty, you could go 1,200 miles. You could really get away from a lot of stuff if you needed to on one tank of fuel. So I think part of the discussion here is fuel efficiency of these big trucks. I remember back in the 1970s when the United States government cut our speed limit on most of the highways down to 55 miles per hour. Do you guys remember that? all in the name of trying to save a little bit of fuel, and it was mandated that we had to drive slower on the highways. Now, you know, up in Montana, speed limits are unlimited on some highways up there. I know there's a toll road down in Texas, love that state of Texas, where the toll road speed limit is 80 miles per hour. So, you know, times are a little bit different today, and partly because, you know, we don't have the oil supply problem that we had in the 70s, but also vehicles are more fuel efficient. And these big Super Duties, I know they're designed for work, and they do a great job at that, but at the same time, you know, if we needed them to deliver, you know, pretty fantastic fuel efficiency, they're capable of it. And my truck weighs 8,300 pounds, and if I can average north of 31 miles per hour on the highway, granted, I'm driving for max fuel efficiency, that is not a bad number. So anyway, you know, I haven't seen many videos on YouTube highlighting anything like max fuel efficiency on these vehicles, so I thought it'd be fun to run this experiment today. Got a pretty interesting number. Guys, got any questions, please comment below. I will do my best to get to you. And if you like this video and like the other ones on my channel, please, of course, I know it's dark, but give me the thumbs up. Share with your friends. Click the little bell. You get reminders of when new videos get put out. And please subscribe. I love my subscribers. You guys are great, and I appreciate you being here today. So thanks again, and more videos to come soon. Take care, guys. Have a good one.